been a rise in awareness of mental health, so much so that we've made a whole culture on it, as more specifically brain rot memes about autism. There's been a huge rise on autism and mental diseases memes, which I find kind of like interesting because it's not just a meme that you laugh at. It's a reflection of the culture we're living in. And today we're gonna react to some of them whilst I state my opinion and the psychology behind why autism memes are a thing. Hi, it's Paula, the psychologist who's not a therapist. And before we get into the video, I want to make a quick disclaimer. As I've said, I am not a therapist. I am no one to go around diagnosing people. I am someone who's somewhat of an expert in the mind of people, but I am not specified in the clinical area. So bear that in mind. Also, I know that autism and ADHD are a serious thing, so much so that I wondered, what do people with autism and ADHD and OCD and all of anxiety, depression, all of those things, what do they think about those memes? And so I happen to have a friend who has both autism and ADHD, so it's like he's got the greatest combo out there. And I asked him, like, what do you think about those memes? And he was like, you know what, I like them. They made me feel good about myself because and I kind of like understood from his perspective that what he meant by that is that when he saw those memes, it was like a relief, a bit of a relief, because he wasn't alone in the feeling, he wasn't alone in the being both autistic with ADHD, and he felt, comforted, like not alone. But I do believe that there's a huge difference in between a person who's actually diagnosed with those disorders and then watches memes to kind of comfort themselves, or they just like find it relatable and funny. Because, yeah, let's be honest, they are relatable and funny, at least most of them. And the other side of the coin is the people who are actually like not neurodivergent and they still laugh at it because it's funny. Like, I also laugh about some of those jokes, but the issue arises when people get it inside their heads. Because, for instance, I was talking to another friend of mine, and him, in his, I don't want to generalize, but in his finance engineering mind, he showed the slightest bit of personality and was like, sorry, it's the autism. No, honey, you've just spit out a bit of personality. I know it may come as a surprise, but that does not mean that you have a mental disorder. That means that you have personality. And I don't know why, but, and I also don't want to generalize, but through my observation, I found that it's like more of a man thing than women's. Because most of my male friends show the bit of personality uniqueness or just a bit of awkwardness. And they're like, sorry, it's the autism. And it's like, I know you don't necessarily believe that, but it's just a half truth, a half lie. Because if I were to seriously ask you, like, do you think you have autism? You will say no. But the thing is, like, part of them categorizes a part of their behavior and their being as being ADHD or having autism, which, what the hell, that's a bit skewed. And now I will use some memes to actually like show you what the issue is, because it's funny. Like, yeah, they are memes, they are absolutely funny and relatable, but the thing is, because something is relatable and it's linked to a disorder, that makes people believe that they have the disorder, or at least some sort of like mild case of the disorder, which is like, honey, you're likely not gonna have that. I started doing my research for the memes on Instagram, and I found that it was really annoying, so I moved to Pinterest, and thank God Pinterest goes straight to the point. For instance, a great example is this: the autism and ADHD constantly over-explaining and adding extra detail to avoid being misunderstood. I think we all do that to some extent. Like, yes, maybe most neurotypicals don't go around constantly thinking that they need to over-explain in order to avoid a misunderstanding. Like, normal people also do that. And by normal, I mean neurotypical, okay? That doesn't mean that people who have disorders are obnoxiously weird. They are not. Because if I just go around my day and I open my phone and I see this meme because I'm bored and I read it and I'm like, yeah, this is relatable to some extent. Does this mean that I have autism and ADHD? No, they are like literal disorders. I don't think that that's what's going on with me, but I certainly do believe that I have this thing that I don't know how to categorize and I want to categorize it, and the meme's telling me that it's called autism or ADHD, therefore I think it's a personality trait. It's not a disease. I will treat it as a personality trait. And therefore I categorized my personality as being autistic or with ADHD. But the thing is, they are disorders, they are not personality traits. To my opinion, it's a bit like the whole masculine and feminine energy. Those are personality traits. Why are they linked to genders? I find it really hard to understand. Of course, if you have like any opinions on anything I say, feel free to say those, because I really like when you comment, guys, because then I get to like think and contradict my own self, so thank you. Then we have another meme, this one. If you see me looking down, it's because I have my laptop there and I'm watching the meme right there. When you go down a weird ADHD hyperfixation rabbit hole and someone sees your search history. I wasn't building a bomb, I was just curious. Who hasn't been through that? I'm sorry. If you have no interest or passions in life and you don't look them up on the internet and you're not curious and you act upon your curiosity, it's not you being neurotypical, it's you being bland, dull. What else can I say? Of course, being hyperfixated in something and being obsessive, it's like, you know, one of the most significant traits of the most famous neurodivergences. But that does not mean that if you have some degree of passion towards something, it's intrinsically diagnosable. It's not your autism, it's you being passionate towards something, which, hey, most people would actually benefit from being a bit more passionate in what they're doing. They would use less ChatGPT and more their brain. Okay, the next one, it's Winnie the Pooh. The fuck did I just read? Reads the entire page again. Mine instantly goes everywhere else and reads the entire page again. That's very relatable to most people. Like, I remember that used to happen to me back in school, like in primary school, when they made me read some stupid thing that I didn't want to read. That's the feeling. And now that I'm reading essays and academic papers on psychology, you don't understand a single thing, therefore your brain goes towards different places, and that's normal because my attention's not focused on that place. And that's the same thing as always. It's like people have ADHD because we're on our phones the whole day and we don't have attention spans. No, it's just our attention's not directed towards the paper, it's directed towards something else. So yeah, is this again a sign of ADHD? Yes. But does that mean that if you have that sign, it means that you have ADHD? No. You're likely not. I wish, like, people with ADHD and professionals wish it was this easy to diagnose someone. But again, it's not that people believe that they have ADHD. If I seriously asked my friend Henry, do you seriously think you have autism? He would be like, no. But part of him categorizes this procrastination thing he's got with having ADHD or this weird obsession with finance, with being autistic. That's a personality trait, not a disease. Why are you calling it autism? Oh, of course, because the internet's telling you that, yeah. But it's really frustrating as a professional. I think it's really, it can be really frustrating with people who also have those diseases, because I talked to my friend, but he's really chill about everything. And maybe people like my other friend who actually have ADHD or autism or both or anything, they are chill about it because it doesn't really affect them. But at the end of the day, as a society, if we think of ADHD and autism as a personality trait rather than a disease, are we devaluing the intricacies of having ADHD or autism or OCD and other types of disorders? Are we being fully honest with ourselves? Okay, and then this one, I found it in Twitter. I refuse to call it X. I'm sorry. Or X. Okay, it's okay. And I actually reposted it because I thought it was funny, and I said like, I don't have ADHD, but same bro, same. How it feels like for ADHD people to listen to someone finish a sentence they already understood within the first few seconds. That is relatable. Most people have felt that. Again, it's the same, like, this is really funny. This is really relatable, and this is also like something that happens with people who have ADHD. Well, some people, this is like a sign, but everyone feels that. Just because you relate to an ADHD meme doesn't mean that you have ADHD. You're likely not gonna have it. And also, I think it undermines the people who actually think that they may have ADHD or autism, because it downplays the importance of that. So if I feel like I may have a disorder, instead of going to a professional, I will just laugh. Because, haha, the meme says that I have autism. Well, it's the autism, and I go around excusing myself because, it's the autism, dude, what the fuck? Okay, and then finally, we've got the not knowing how to show empathy without using personal anecdotes. Autistic people and people who have ADHD. I mean, I don't have any of those, and I happen to do such thing. And now I'm gonna tell you why you are also likely gonna, show empathy with personal experiences. And it's because when someone states something or explains an experience they had to you, you're like, wait, I need to process it and make it my own. How do I make it my own? Based on the knowledge I have. And what is the knowledge I have? Most of it is part of, it's my experience. Most of the knowledge I have is my experience, or at least subjected to my experience. Therefore, I'm gonna link the knowledge you tell me with the knowledge I have. And the knowledge I have is, most of it is just me and my lives. This is not a problem. As long as you're not being extremely selfish and you're only talking about yourself without respecting the other person you're talking to, this is not a disorder. This is not something, that you should feel as if you had a problem because you're doing that. So, yeah. True. So what can we take from these memes and the cultural shift where brain rots being our primal source of information? The thing is, my problem's not with the memes in and of themselves, because at the end of the day, we live in a world where, stupid memes are the thing. My issue is not that you're making fun or kind of laughing off having a disorder. It's a great thing, because my life could be pretty disastrous if I didn't laugh about the stupid things that I say, the things that happen to me that are just a bummer. I tend to make fun of them. I'm Spanish, it's just ingrained in our culture. And it could be a really great tool for resilience, but my problem comes when people, relate to the memes and they're like, okay, then I must be autistic. But they don't truly believe that they are autistic in a disease sense of the word. They think that they are autistic as an adjective that's not linked to the disease, but rather a personality trait. The thing is, you could be extroverted, you could be introverted. Well, we could discuss about that if you want to, but you could be, more intuitive. You know that the 16 personality test, they treat it like that. It's weird. You don't have autism. You're likely not gonna have autism. You're likely not gonna have ADHD. What you are is just in lack of a better word. And the internet's not helping because it's just reducing diseases and terms. And they reduce the nuance of the word by, widening the meaning. Because now you can use autism as for anything. It's just like, oh, I spilled my coffee. It must be the autism. Why did I? Let's forbid all memes because they are being some sort of propaganda and they are disturbing people. I don't think we should forbid memes, especially those kinds of memes. To me, it's just okay, it's harmless as long as people have enough resources to know what they are actually looking at, but they don't, and that's the problem. The problem is within the perception of the people rather than the thing in and of itself. It's a bit of a symbiotic relationship, but I don't think there's a clear solution because we cannot forbid it. And if we forbade all those memes, I wouldn't laugh as much as I do, and I like having a good laugh. So, yeah, I just hope this video has raised some awareness in the way we treat memes instead of, you know, being mad about memes. I'm not mad about memes. You shouldn't be mad about memes. And if you are, please tell me why. So if you like this video, comment down below if you want me to review more things about pop culture, because I'd be down to. I would need to get informed, but I would be more than down to, because it's really interesting actually, because it's the things that are actually affecting us right now. And if you want to know how the youth is being corrupted, click on this video right here, and if you haven't been subscribed yet, you can subscribe right here. And thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you have a really nice week. I'll see you in the next one.